Hello and welcome to the video. Today we're going to change the extruder on the Creality CR-10 version 3. The Creality CR-10 version 3 came with the Titan direct drive extruder and the kind of run-of-the-mill Creality hot end, which is kind of garbage. And so running into a lot of those leaking issues and whatnot, I'm going to swap that out for the Microswiss NG direct drive extruder kit. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is get the filament out of the stock extruder. Go ahead and clip that, get this thing fired up, get that heating up for us. Man, this whole jog dial, I bumped the temperature up to 215 just for good measure. We should be able to boop, pull that right out. So now we can turn everything off. We're gonna wanna unplug power. Put this over here. Now we can remove the original print head. It's going to be a series of button head hex screws and these socket head cap screws here. Should be 5 in total. You've got BL Touch or something hooked up, you might want to unplug that. I'll also go ahead and unplug this stepper. We're gonna have to do that later anyway, so we can remove the part cooling fan and the hot end fan here. Okay, so now we have to remove the 3 screws in the backside of the shroud here. Oh, that one's tight. Okay. Should be able to pop this side off. Yep. So now we're down to the hot end. All stock units will come with a silicone boot on the bottom here. I have long since removed mine and thrown it in the garbage, but you'll want to remove that. You got that silicone boot removed, you can take this guy out, and it's a 1.5 millimeter. They give you this tool in your kit with the NG extruder. So you take that set screw out. So then there is probably a Phillips, but I think I'm using a JIS bit. Don't tell anybody. We should be able to remove all of this here. All right, yes sir. So now we're free. Cut these zip ties. Pull that snake skin back here, that expandable sleeving. We want to unplug this connector. Cable tie gone. The connector on this side is a little bit bigger than the one on this side, so I'm going to pull this side through. Okay. So I've got the original one out. All right, we got to feed this through. Let's get this guy plugged in. Good to go. This is my BL Touch cable. I'm gonna try to run it through the snake skin as well. Awesome. Get this connector kind of jammed in there like the old one was. Get that expandable sleeving moved back into place. Remove this plastic printed fan shroud. There's a screw here and a screw here. We remove that. In this kit here, there's 3 kind of black oxide button head screws in that washer. So collect those. These bosses will align with the 3 through holes in the carriage plate. The washer is going to go on one of these screws, and it's going to go into the bottom right. And you can see that one's different than the other ones. That's the one that's going to get the washer. So let me... All right, give those a bit of a snug. Now that the extruder is mounted, we can go ahead and kind of turn this thing around in order to mount the heat block here. Loosen this set screw. This clevis just has to face you. So make sure that thing is fully inserted, make sure it's bottomed out, and then screw the set screw in. Lock that down. You don't have to go too tight on this. The threads are tiny and it's aluminum, so it literally says do not over tighten the set screw. You pull those threads out of there, you're gonna have a bad day. Install the heat cartridge and thermistor. We got our screw that holds the thermistor in place. You don't have to get too crazy with this screw. It's sandwiching wires, man. Let's go ahead and tighten the mount screws for the heat cartridge here. Again, these are tiny. Don't over tighten them. We can put the silicone boot back on. Go ahead and start assembling our cooling shroud. They give you self-tapping screws to assemble this with. They give you one long one for the part cooling fan. Just goes right in there. And then four for your hot end cooling fan. It goes something like this. Ooh, snaps in nicely. That had some affirmative audible sounds there. That was nice. Clips in just like that. Get one self-tapping screw that goes in here. Again, you shouldn't King Kong these. These are, you're threading into plastic. You can go ahead and install the cooling shroud onto the extruder. This cabling here fits into this groove. Once you kind of get it going your way, the shroud kind of holds itself there. So you should be able to easily get these screws in there. Plug in the stepper motor and our BL Touch. I actually had to unbolt it to do it, but whatever. Insert this blue piece of PTFE tubing into the extruder. And then there are these red C-clips. They slide underneath this black part here. All right, throw some zip ties onto that expandable sleeving. Now adjust gear tension. We're gonna use a piece of filament to measure how far in we thumb these threads. So yeah, I think right about there. Good starting point. I imagine I will adjust that over time. I did on the old extruders. From here, calibrate the E-steps. So they do give you a download for the E-steps G-code. You can do this however you want. You can do this manually. You can do this from this download. Let's see, get my SD card. All right, so we're gonna do the E-step calibration from the link that they provided. We'll see how that works out. I did download the file, I put it on my SD card, and now I'm going to navigate to print from TF, and I'm gonna find that file. It's ms_ng_es or estep400.gcode. So if I go and check on the E-steps, it does say the E-steps have been adjusted to 400. It used to be in the 300 somewhere with the old setup, the Titan direct drive. So yeah, I guess that worked. I fed the filament into the extruder and I heated it to 215, and I'm just stepping it along. It is feeding in. I'm just waiting for it to come out the end. Ah, there it is. It's kind of nice that they do have this G code for E steps, because otherwise you would actually you should probably calibrate it anyway. I can't imagine there isn't a little bit of fine tuning that you could get out of actually running through the calibration process. We'll see how Benchy prints and we'll go from there. All right, we got Benchy loaded up. We'll see how good this thing works. Just right out of the box with all of the factory settings. I haven't actually calibrated the E-step. This is exactly how it is set up after running that G-code file that they give you. All right, looks like my Benchy is done. It just finished, so things are still kind of hot. But this was made on PLA Plus. Did pretty good. Got some zits and stuff forming down here. A little bit of stringing there. Probably printed a little bit too hot. Very, very minor tuning, and we should be able to get some very nice prints out of this device. So hope this video helped somebody. Later.